Welcome to Behind the Catch Fence. I'm your host, David Hoffman. We're over halfway through the week, which means the U.S. Nationals are literally coming up in a matter of days. It's crazy to say that. And with that, our coverage rolls on. If you missed our interviews with Erica Enders or Justin Ashley, don't forget to go check those out. Now for today, two-time U.S. Nationals winner J.R. Todd joins us. So buckle up and get ready to hear all about his background growing up going to the NHRA's biggest race, his reflection on his wins there, and much more. Now sit back and snag a snack and enjoy this episode with J.R. Todd. Yeah, obviously big week here with the U.S. Nationals, 70th anniversary of it. I'm sure you guys have been prepping like no one's business. At least for you, obviously you had Brainerd 2 weeks ago, had the whole engine blow and everything else. Where are you guys at just in terms of recovering from that and coming into the U.S. Nationals with your best?
Um, Ideally, you want to get through Brainerd, and then there's a big test session on Monday after the race where everybody's gearing up for the U.S. Nationals and then the countdown to the championship, our playoff. But the weekend didn't go smooth for us. We had an explosion there Friday night in qualifying, which tore up our primary car, junked the body, bent the frame rail on that. So we had to unload the backup car. And then on Sunday, had another explosion there, second round, which destroyed another body and a bunch of parts and pieces. So instead of the guys having some time off, they busted butt getting the primary car back to Indianapolis to Brownsburg to get it front half and back to Michigan to get it all put together and get our bodies up to date. We had a brand new body that we were gonna unload for Indy anyhow, so that worked out. And then bring another older body back into service. So the guys they worked around the clock, and by Saturday morning I got a picture that the car was scaled and all ready to go for Friday night this week. So hats off to those guys because they have zero quit in them. They don't complain, and hopefully we can hit the ground running here Friday night qualifying.
And for you, obviously being from Lawrenceburg, Indiana, like you were mentioning, just what are some of your earliest memories of the U.S. Nationals, whether being there in person or watching it on TV or something?
Yeah, I started going to the U.S. Nationals when I was 10. Actually, got to race my junior dragsters there. It was so cool to line up in the stage lanes against Kenny Bernstein and John Forrest with your junior dragsters. So I think since 92 or 93 that I've been to every U.S. National since then. So you definitely have seen a lot happen in the sport. It makes you appreciate the history of the race, just seeing the greats that have won it and the crazy things that have happened there in the past. And it being somewhat of a hometown guy, I don't know. I think it means a little more to me that I got to race junior dragsters at IRP and to grow up and be a professional that you never really think is going to happen, and then to win Indy twice. It definitely it means a lot to me being from Indiana.
And you mentioned with kind of being in the same staging lanes with guys like Kenny Bernstein and John Force. I mean, as a kid, were you someone that would maybe go up to some of these guys, or was kind of like, I'm just gonna let them do their thing type of type of thing?
I mean, there's pictures of me getting, my auto or getting their autograph and my picture with them in the staging lanes. But I was definitely a shy kid, but I definitely, ran around the pits getting everybody's handout cards and getting autographs. So it's kind of come full circle now that, little kids that race junior dragsters, and when they come up and want their picture taken or want an autograph, I always put myself in their shoes. Like, man, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. Like that was me doing that.
Time certainly flies. And how would you describe, at least when you got to, top level of NHRA, how would you describe that first time of you go from that kid just, in junior dragsters to like being with the big boys and every, big, just with everyone. And yeah, how would you describe that time?
It was definitely intimidating. I mean, I first got into a top fuel dragster the week after I graduated high school. And, a couple of years before that, I was still racing junior dragsters, but had also, moved up to a super comp dragster, sportsman class, was racing both those at the same time. So it's kind of a big jump from those two cars to at the time, a 300 mile per hour top fuel dragster. So it was definitely intimidating, but once you get past the fear of something making that much power and going that fast, it's like, all right, now I'm hooked. It's like an adrenaline rush like no other. You're hooked after that, and you want to go quicker and faster. And then once I got my start in NHRA in 2006, and getting to compete against guys that I watched as a kid. I remember guys like Gary Selsey and Larry Dixon, and just finally meeting Brandon Bernstein, who's now one of my best friends. It's crazy how things work out in life to where these are all people that I watched on TV, and now I'm competing with them and hanging out with them, and then asking them for advice. It's just it's crazy how it all worked out.
And I always hear how Indy is just, it's a totally different race. It's its own thing. It's the Super Bowl of drag racing. Just what is it about Indy that kind of brings that out, or that makes it so special to compete at?
Um, I don't know, man. It's like you said, it's our Super Bowl of drag racing. It's, our Indy 500. Just everybody's mood changes. All the teams, they bring out their best parts and pieces. There's more points on the line. There's more money on the line. There's a specialty race, on Sunday where there's 8 of us racing for $80,000. There's just a lot going on, and a lot of the legends of the sport, they show up for this one race. So not that they don't show up for other events, but it just shows like the importance of the guys like Don Perdome, coming from Southern California to Indy to hang out for the weekend and reminisce. And I don't know, I it's everybody's mood changes, everybody's more tensed up. But once you win it, it's like, man, you feel like you've really accomplished something. I mean, there's guys in the sport that haven't won the championship that have won Indy, that that's basically solidified their career, and guys that haven't won Indy saying how much they would give up just to win it. So it's definitely a special feeling like no other.
And you mentioned with winning it, 2017 was your first year winning it there. You go from Top Fuel to Funny Car that year as well. And I think you faced off against Ron Capps. And I remember I was watching the clip, and you're sort of like the underdog per se for going into that event. Just for you to achieve that, to kind of go in as the underdog and then kind of to knock off Capps there. Just what do you remember about that day, and just that feeling to say, hey, I'm at a U.S. Nationals winner.
Yeah, that was my first year, driving the DHL Funny Car. And the first half of the season, I just really struggled from transitioning from the dragster to the funny car. It just takes a different mindset when it comes to driving. You got to be a lot more aggressive with the steering wheel in the funny car, just because they're so much shorter and heavier and don't have as much downforce as the dragster. So rolling into Indy, we were coming off a win, a couple races before that in Sonoma. So it was nice to, I guess, kind of show that I could drive a funny car and that I was capable of winning. And I remember there in the semifinals at the U.S. Nationals against Tim Wilkerson, we smoked the tires pretty early in the run, and he goes out there and hits the timing blocks, and they're flying in my lane and bouncing off the car, and it's like a holy what moment when that happens, because like, all right, we're back in this thing now. Now we're in the final round. It's like we need to make it count. So going up against Ron Capps, who at the time had never won Indy, I mean, that was kind of the big story throughout, his whole funny car career. Like, when's he going to win Indy? Just because he had accomplished so much in his career. So we were definitely the underdog, and I'll never forget the highlights from the Fox broadcast. It's like there was silence. Like they didn't know what to say or what to think after we won. But as soon as that win light come on, that was just instant relief. And you're screaming and yelling inside the car, and can't wait to get out and celebrate. And your crew guys come down at the top end and meet you, and you're ready to celebrate with them. And I'm pretty sure we partied pretty big that night.
You partying already, and the car wasn't even stopped yet, coming out at the top of the car. That was one of the more memorable moments, I'm sure, of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Just that race, it means so much to me. Like I said, being from there, I have a lot of friends that go to that race, friends that I grew up racing with. It's a home race, so my family's able to come and spend the week there, and just to be able to win in front of so many people that I hadn't won in front of before. It was a cool moment for sure.
And you had given Connie Coletta another win there at Indy, and just how would you describe just the emotion from him to see him? And I don't know if he was there for the victory or not, or if you saw him after, but as what was his reaction to everything?
I'll never forget once again going back to the TV broadcast and they're showing his face. And he's got a big old smile, which, he's known as a hard ass and a grumpy old man, but he's gotten a little bit softer in his years. So anytime that you can make him smile like that, that means a lot. And, anytime that he comes up and gives you a hug and tells you a great job, that's all I need to hear as a driver. And, he won the race, I think, in 94 or 95, somewhere around that era when I was racing junior dragsters at the time. So be able to win the same race as the boss man, which is our biggest race in the world, that's definitely a pinch me moment.
And you end up going back to back in 2018 as well. And just as someone who's been able to go back to back and do it twice in a row, just how difficult is that to come back the very next year, knowing there's a target on your back, knowing the competition's better, and be able to execute everything and get another win?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to win one, especially to go back to back. And I felt like 2018 was completely different than 2017. I was more comfortable in the car. We tested really well the week before the race. We qualified well. I feel like that we had the best car from qualifying all through race day. Like it wasn't a surprise when we went out and won there on Monday. And that I wouldn't say we dominated, but like I said, I feel like that we had the best car all weekend long, and that we were supposed to win there on Monday.
And I found a couple questions. I've heard drivers say when it comes to Indy, it's very easy for guys to get psyched out or to kind of make it a bigger deal than it is. You mentioned the tenseness there. Just how do you harness those emotions and this that naturally come up because it is Indy?
Yeah, I mean, first round of any race weekend is always, I don't want to say the worst, but you're anxious. Some guys are nervous. You're just ready to get going just because you've had all night, all morning to think about it. And Indy is definitely more than the average weekend. So that's when, if I ever get nervous, it's typically Monday morning in Indy. And it's funny, walking through the staging lanes, just looking at other drivers, like I've you see them pacing around, and I've had them come up to me like, "Man, I'm nervous." I just kind of laugh it off. Like I try not to show that it bothers me, and more than anything, just gotta tell myself like, "Hey, it's just another race." So if you put the added pressure on yourself that it's Indy or something like that, you're probably gonna go out there and make a mistake. So you just gotta treat it like it's another race, but the back of your mind, it's the biggest race of the year.
And a final question for me, just aside from the racing part, which obviously we all love, just what are some of the traditions that you guys like to do, or is there something you're looking forward to throughout the week before you get to the racing part?
Just I don't know. I love that guys like Don Perdome, come to this race. So it's always nice catching up with him and hearing stories from a lot of the old guys in the sport about Indy. And I don't I don't know, just the crowd. You can tell it's a different race. I compare it to like when you go to Indy 500, just has a different feeling that everybody's excited and ready to go. And this is, one of the races where my parents take their motor home. So I have a camper out there at the track with them and just get to hang out with family and friends and relax and take it easy after each day of qualifying. And I don't know, more than anything, you want to add more Indy wins. I mean, some of my heroes in the sport have won the thing, 5+ times, like Ed Yates McCulloch. I think he's won it 5 times. So if I could get close to him, that'd be saying something for my career, I would think. But they're not easy to come by, and it seems like every year that Funny Car gets more and more competitive. And right now I feel like we're in a good spot points wise to make a run at the championship. But first we got to get through Indy. So it would be nice to win here and kind of kickstart our countdown to the championship off in 2 weeks.
Well, Jay, I appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully everything goes well. Nothing gets on fire, blows up or anything. So, yeah, I appreciate you taking the time and good luck this weekend.
Thanks a lot. If we got to blow it up and catch on fire to win Indy, so be it. I'm willing to do that.
Thanks for watching our interview with J.R. Todd. It's crazy how life has sort of come full circle for him. I mean, you go from being a kid at the staging lanes grabbing an autograph from legends of the sport to being the one that kids run up for pictures. And unfortunately for Todd, his car is all ready to go this weekend despite having a few blown up bodies at Brainerd. I'd expect him to be in contention come Monday, that's for sure. Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. Make sure to comment below what you thought of the interview. We appreciate all of the love and support. And make sure to like and subscribe as well. We're not done with US Nationals content yet, so stay close, very, very close to the channel. Like that close. If you want even more content, go check out our Instagram and X account at Behind Catch. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. Go enjoy some racing, and I'll catch you guys later.